Well, good morning again. Lovely to be able to share the devotion with you this morning, and just thinking about the kingdom of God as we've been talking about that over the last few weeks in some of the teachings we've been doing on Wednesdays and on Sundays. And I was thinking about this verse, or these verses in Luke chapter 9, verse 46. And it's when the disciples are arguing among themselves who might be the greatest. And Jesus responds with a wonderful response. It says, "Then a dispute arose among them as to which of them would be greatest. And Jesus, perceiving the thought of their hearts, took a little child and set him by him, and said to them, Whoever receives this little child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all, will be great." And this wasn't the first time that the disciples were arguing who would be the greatest among themselves. You know, that driving ambition, that wanting self kind of promotion or recognition for themselves. And Jesus will have heard this conversation, and as he did, he intervened not only to address what they had said, but it said that he perceives the thoughts of their hearts. Now, in perceiving the thoughts of their hearts, it means that he understood their motivations, and he addresses their motivations. And that's something that Jesus wants to do with each one of us. Sometimes we have a superficial, a surface kind of relationship or understanding of who Jesus is, but he wants to get much, much deeper than that. He wants to get into those places in our hearts where our motivations come from. And why it is we do the things that we do. And he knew that the guys were selfish in their ambitions, and he could have quite easily have dealt with them in a straightforward way and just said, I'm the greatest, that's the end of it, don't have this conversation again. But instead he didn't do that. He brought a little child in and used a child as an example. Whoever receives this little child in my name receives me. Now, a child, well, we know what Jesus would have, what the disciples did with children. As they would approach Jesus, they'd shoo them off. Children seen as unimportant, of no kind of status, just, an aside, really. But Jesus brings this child right into the centre, really to show them what the kingdom of God is about. It's not about selfish ambition or wanting to, or a dog-eat-dog, wanting to get to the top and be recognised to be the best. It's about serving. And Jesus wanted to show them that in a way that was more powerful than just telling them, this is how it is. He brought in this child for them to see. I wonder what they were thinking as they stood looking on at this little child. I wonder what the little child was doing as he stood looking up at these disciples, and Jesus just bringing him in and using him as this example. I bet he felt important. I bet he never knew what it was or even had thought about anything like that before. But to be recognised by Jesus, and that's what he wanted to teach his disciples, that the greatest of all is willing to come to this earth and to come to the least that they may think, that the disciples may think of the least, that if they receive him, then they receive him who sent him, God himself. Jesus was gently telling his disciples that he was the greatest and that only he was the one worthy of praise and worship. And what he said to them at the end, he said, for he who is least among you all will be great. And he wanted to change their motives and their desires. He wanted to show them that it's not just about having the title, being recognised as the greatest. Jesus was saying he is the greatest, and he came innocently to serve humbly, and that we should have that same attitude of heart and mind. So I pray that today, as you go throughout your day, whatever you may be doing, that we do maybe the Lord's asking us, searching our hearts, perceiving the thoughts of our hearts, and asking that question, why are we doing the things that we're doing? Are we doing it for recognition, for selfish ambition? Or are we doing it because we want to serve Jesus? We want to love the one who came for us, and we don't really care what it is that he's asked us to do, but just that we do it. God bless you all.